going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull back with another live stream. It's been a minute since my last one, solo one. Been busy with work and life. Now I'm back trying to get back into the swing of things. So I might be a little rusty today. Bear with me, but I want to talk about the overall markets, my strategy, what I've been doing, what I've been buying, and how I've been approaching this boring time in the market, because that's what it is. It's boring. And this is the part of the market where a lot of people get shaken out, especially people who have not been through cycles, who are not familiar with crypto, retail. You know, months ago when this market was pumping, I said on my streams, I had all sorts of people reaching out to me, asking me what they should buy, right? When Tectum was $45 and Devve was $1.50 and Mcade was, what was that? A couple cents, 2.5 cents. People were reaching out to ask what they should buy. Now it's radio silence. So these are boring times in the market, and you know, these are the times when people should be asking what they should be buying, right? So thanks for coming through. Let's see who we got up in here. We'll talk about all the alts that we love. SoCal in the house. First again, SoCal. Like, share, and sub. Yes, make sure to do those 3 things. Smells fun in the house. He's listening while driving. Let's go, Chuck. Season 3 OG. No, not boring. I'm excited. I effed up last time by not buying super low. Won't get me again. And yeah, that's, you know, that's where experience kicks in, right? These are the times when you want to buy. Nothing has changed fundamentally about the coins that we were buying, all the alts that we were buying, you know, months ago. If anything, the fundamentals have improved, right? What's changed is the overall market, with Bitcoin going sideways and alts bleeding against Bitcoin, which is what happens when Bitcoin goes sideways for a long period of time and retraces off an all-time high. And so it's important not to get shaken out. I've been adding to my bags. I've also taken the opportunity to rebalance a bit, you know, my portfolio, things that I have less conviction in, you know, selling some stuff off to move into higher conviction plays. And so, you know, I thought my bags were packed months ago, but they're never fully packed, right? This is, like Season 3 OG said, this is the time to load up on the things that you like. So let's take a look. We got 23 people up in here. Let me know if you're in here watching. Let me know who you are. Interact. I was playing some Mcade right before I started this. So we're going to talk about Mcade a little later. We're going to talk about, you know, my updated thoughts on OMI, talk about memes, talk about the sectors that I like for this cycle. B-Dubs in the house. What's good? Good to see you again, B-Dubs. Thanks for tuning in. But let's look at Bitcoin, which, if you look at it from this perspective, right, you might not see how bullish this is, but when you max out, that is quite bullish, right? People feel like this market, you know, people get shaken out because they think it's a bearish time in the market because alts are bleeding. But look at the strength of Bitcoin, and long term, this is very bullish for the overall market, because what's happening right now is that Bitcoin is building out new price structure near its all-time highs, right? This is, you know, last cycle, Bitcoin peaked at 69,000, right? 60, I think I don't know if it closed at 69, but it hit 69. We are consolidating right around last cycle's all-time highs. And so what's happening is Bitcoin is building out strength in this area. And in the future, when there are retracements, right, when this chart to the right is written over the course of the next year and a half, and there are, once this cycle is over and Bitcoin comes back down, it's going to be finding strength in this area because of the support that it's building out right now. And so this is an important time for Bitcoin to just build out this support and continue gaining strength for its inevitable run up, because if history repeats itself, and it has every cycle so far, so there's nothing that leads me to believe that it won't this time. If history repeats itself, we're looking at Bitcoin breaking out well beyond its $70,000 wherever it went at its most recent all-time high. What was it, 74, something like this? I forget. But breaking out and getting near that six-figure Bitcoin, and then we know what follows, right? The altcoins go crazy, and that's what we're all here, is those altcoins. So sit tight, and this is called a reaccumulation phase for a reason. It's because it's an opportunity to reaccumulate. Let's look at, I love looking at some Rect Capital. If you're not familiar with Rect Capital, follow them on X. They do great work. And here they're tracking the bull market progress. We're only 39% through this current cycle. So we're very early still. And if you look at, let's see. If you look at the 2016, let's look at 2016, which is circled right here. That's the halving. This line, this blue line going down the middle, this is each halving. And if you look at 2016, these are monthly candles. After the halving, there was blood, right? And it took a few months before a recovery. And then the parabolic run started, and then the correction. If you go to 2020, same exact thing played out. Bitcoin ran up a bit into the halving, had a red month, and then started going up, went up 2 months in a row, another red month, and then off to the races. Fast forward to here, this is where we're at. Again, Bitcoin ran up a little more into the halving, right? Because of the ETF and the narrative of this cycle, and the catalyst of this cycle, which kind of gave us an accelerated cycle, ran up into the halving, and then we see that red candle, and now here we are 2 months after, little red. And if history repeats itself, you know what's coming, right? You might get another 2 months of sideways action before the inevitable run up of Bitcoin, and then alts go up. And so, people, I think, take for granted, or it's hard to wrap your mind around what a bull market really looks like. Sometimes it's boring. And if you look at Bitcoin as a whole, for the most part, Bitcoin is ranging, right? In January, after it broke out of its lows and went to $22,000, Bitcoin stayed between $20,000 and $30,000 until October. That's like 9 months of rangy price action. 9 months. And then the move up was violent, right? It was violent to the upside, a lot of volatility. And now we're consolidating again. And so this might take place. You might see some more rangy action for Bitcoin for another month, 2 months, maybe more. And in that time, maybe alts continue to bleed a little. All right, but this is called a reaccumulation area for a reason, because it's time to reaccumulate. And again, this is Mustache. This is another good X guy to follow who has a lot of great charts on alts. And he illustrates here, again, each cycle. This is around the halving and what happens each cycle. And you can see visually history is repeating itself. And this is where we are, right? This a yellow circle, all right? And shortly thereafter is the run up. When alts run, the parabolic moves in altcoins take place over a short amount of time, right? It's generally like the last 7 weeks of a bull cycle, you'll see the biggest gains, right? You'll see coins doing 10x's and going crazy, but that's in a relatively short amount of time, right? And people take that for granted. They think that like the whole cycle is, just full balls to the wall, alts running and everything going crazy, but it takes time to build out. Pixel in the house, what's good? Agreed, great time to reassess your positions and adjust accordingly. Yeah, I'm a big believer in readjusting, in rebalancing a portfolio. And when everything in your portfolio is down, 60% from where it was, that's a good time to reassess. What are your highest conviction plays? For me, my highest conviction plays in my alts, the ones that I've talked about the most, are Tectum, Aitech, Rio, Mcade, and Naka for gaming. And I have a lot of Devve also, which is down quite a lot. And so I've sold off some of my other stuff to load up on my highest conviction plays. Because before, I showed off a lot of my charts where I look at perspective or potential gains on some of these coins. And when Tectum was at $45 or $30, it still had potentially a 10 to 20x in it. Now Tectum at $9, you're talking about much more than a 10 or a 20x. Naka at $1.10, you're talking about much more than, I wasn't buying Naka at $3 anymore, right? I was looking for other things, right? So I bought Naka at around this price. 90 cents is when I started buying it. I think 80 cents, 75 cents. And then I bought some in the low dollars. And then once it ran up, I didn't really buy too much. But now that it's back down here, one of the things that I'm doing now is looking at what has the market already confirmed, right? The market has given confirmation to some of these coins. We've seen them perform extremely well. When the market heats up, I would expect these coins to continue to perform really well, because what these coins are doing now is building out support at these levels. And then when the market heats up again, they're going to have natural prices to gravitate towards. Russ, seen the volume on HIF on Ton. Ton is Telegram blockchain. Hedgehog is in the fog. Second top meme on Ton. I've seen that Ton is the Telegram blockchain. I haven't paid to, I've seen different coins popping off from there, but I'm not familiar with the ecosystem, though. That's something that's worth looking into if it's a potential, hot narrative. And that's another thing, is looking at what are the hot narratives and how to position yourself in them. And now is a good time to get into some things. So the top sectors, I believe, for this cycle will be AI, RWA. I always like layer ones. Meme coins are not going anywhere, as annoying as they are, and as degen as they are. Meme coins are here to stay. And then I think gaming will do well, although gaming has been quite quiet since its initial run, which was like back in November of last year. I think gaming ran hot from like November through January and then cooled off substantially, right? Then AI took over. What's good? I'm trying to games. How do you pronounce the first Cash Games? That's it. I remember. Why is Omi and Chuck on your title? Because we're going to talk about them. LF Franklin. That's Omi the Clown, right? Yes, we're going to talk about Omi and Chuck. Because I'm always asked about Omi because I've covered it substantially, and everyone wants to talk about Omi in my, when I stream. So I figured it was a good time to catch up on Omi the Clown. Although formerly FKA, formerly known as Omi the Clown. And we'll talk about some Chuck too. Any sectors you don't have exposure to yet or want to make into a larger position? No, I mean, I would probably look for some more memes and look to get into more. The thing is that it's hard to find good memes that like aren't rugs, right? And so maybe memes, and I did buy a couple more memes since my last stream. One is Omikami. No, where is it? Here it is. I got into Omikami based off of Alex from Ron's Telegram put out this call. The guy, supposedly the creator of Shiba Inu is behind this, and Ryu, and so I got in pretty early on Omikami, which went up very high. Did had a parabolic run up, has cooled off a bit now. So I have exposure to that now, and I went degen on Trump coin. Now, this, if you've been paying attention, this cycle is like the weirdest cycle ever, right? You've got Iggy Azalea with Mother. You've got like a bunch of celebrity coins that are rugging. Hulk Hogan had a coin that rugged. 50 Cent says that his X account was hacked. You've got Kylie Jenner, not Kylie, Bruce Jenner, whatever his name is now, her name. All these celebrity meme coins, but the Trump stuff, the MAGA stuff, political feelings aside, has, I think MAGA went to a $380 million market cap, and now this being an election season, I think these are going to do extremely well. Trump coin, DJT on Sol, supposedly created by Barron Trump, Trump's 18-year-old son, in conjunction with Martin Shkreli. If you're not paying attention, there's been controversy around it. People are alleging that Barron didn't create it, that it's a rug. Martin Shkreli saying that he has the receipts. He did a 6-hour Twitter space with Mario Nawfal talking about the receipts that he has. And I think Zach, the crypto sleuth, did some digging, and he did find evidence that Martin Shkreli was associated with it. And so my gut tells me that Martin Shkreli is telling the truth and that Barron Trump did have something to do with this and got cold feet. And, if it comes out, if there's truth to the fact that Barron Trump had something to do with DJT, then, in an election year, I can see, the big Trump coins going into, billions in market cap. So I took a flyer on this. I don't think the liquidity is locked on this. Let me pull up, which makes it, maybe it's a rug. But I don't think it's a rug. If it was a rug, it would have rugged. It's kind of like, here it is. I think it has like 60 million in liquidity, or 55. Here it is, $55 million in liquidity, not locked, $130 million market cap. The volume has been crazy. Some of the buy orders are crazy. It immediately went to like a $300 million market cap. All right, so the risk here is that it's, Barron is proven not to have anything to do with it, and it's scammy. But this is crypto. There's no reward without risk. So I threw some money at this. You see the transactions on this and the volume on it. A lot of big buys and sells. The thousands. There have been six-figure routine. Look at this, $250,000 buy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, I think meme coins are interesting and dangerous, right? But interesting because, if you get into a gaming coin or, something in a particular sector, the potential of it is kind of capped, right? Like, a gaming coin might go to, $5-10 billion market cap, whereas a good meme coin, as we saw last cycle, can get into the tens of billions, right? Especially in an election year if it's a political one. So now my meme coin exposure is Cock Inu. I still have a big bag of. I got in early on that. Chuck, I have a whole lot of that, right? Because got in early on that, and I've been very active with the community. I've got DJT and Omakami. Those are my 4 meme coins. And if I see something good, perhaps I'll add it. OG Akomi wiki site user, know what's up. Yeah. Omi the Clown. It's legend in Omi history. Uno Sean in a house. Nothing makes sense anymore this cycle. This cycle is the craziest ever. Nothing makes sense is right. You've got like Elizabeth Horan. You've got Bowden. All these, and it's not going to change, right? That degen money that went into NFTs last cycle is pouring into meme coins because they're so easily created. Right now that Soul and Base are here. It's so easy to mint a meme coin. There's something like 1 million coins that were created like last month or something. And so they're not going anywhere. That's the degen play of this cycle. And if you catch some good ones, you'll do well. Now we even have to diversify our memes. Yes. Cross chains. It makes sense. Perfect sense. ETH ETF coming approximately July 2nd. Expect everything to go down first and then take off. Yes, this week, and then dump again. Yeah, max pain is the way. Follow the liquidity map. Max pain is the way, right? The market maker is going to grab the liquidity on top and on the bottom. My process and throughout all of this is just DCA. And I don't get too greedy to the downside because sometimes when you overthink things, you wait too long. And so I bought a bunch of things last week. I've been at a lot of Tectum at $9. This is about where I bought it originally. And Tectum went to $45 rather quickly. Here it is. So you see these big lines up, right? And I like Tectum, one, because it's a layer 1, and I like the potential of layer 1s and the market caps they can acquire. But 2, because it ties in, it gives me exposure to like the Bitcoin narrative, as it's a Bitcoin scaling solution, and they have their soft note technology that ensures privacy when transacting with Bitcoin. And so I was hoping that this got back down so I could add more, and now it's here, and so I'm adding more. So I bought a bunch of Tectum this week, and Devve has been, Tectum I'm still doing well on, decent on, but I've been beaten up on Devve, which launched kind of, and if you've gotten into Devve since its launch, you most likely have a bad taste in your mouth, right? Because when it launched, it was in February. And so it was when alts were pumping. And so it immediately went from, whatever it launched at, about 80 cents or whatever, to a couple dollars. And you likely bought around here. And it's bled all the way down to 28 cents. Now, Devve has a lot of token unlocks, right? So I've never liked their token unlocks, but I like the fact that they can do like 8 million transactions per second. And I like the fact that they have, the clean energy narrative. And so I haven't, I like Tectum more than Devve, but at 28 cents, I bought more Devve. Smart and Skrelly, however it's pronounced, Pharma Bro. Yeah, that's Pharma Bro. And people assume because he's Pharma Bro and he's been in jail that, he's not being honest about the DJT thing. But I believe he is, because I don't think that he's a CEO of a major company. He's like very rich. He's out of prison. He did a 6-year stint in prison for price gouging on pharmaceuticals, right? I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was like AIDS medicine or something like that were needed, and he like sold them for like 1000x. And he went to jail for securities fraud. And so he's got like a tarnished reputation, but Barron Trump has not come out and denied the allegations, right? So, and Barron's friend came out and confirmed them. Barron's friend tweeted that Barron was behind it. So I'm really interested in the whole story, and I love these subplots in crypto. Martin Shkreli also bought the One of One Wu-Tang album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, which I'm dying to hear, but it's a one of one. He had to sell it, I think, because of his financial issues when he was in jail. But he's rebuilt himself, and he's got a lot of money. Agreed, ETF is a big deal for the markets and alts. Yeah. And so that ETF is launching supposedly July 2nd. That's what Bloomberg analysts suggest. Might see a run up into that, and then a sell the news event to grab some liquidity, as the man formerly known as Omi the Clown suggests. But the thing about this cycle is, while things are bleeding out and things are boring, the whole sector is fundamentally stronger, right? You have institutional money pouring into Bitcoin. You're about to have institutional money pour into Ethereum. And then there'll be talk about other ETFs, whether it's Solana or Chainlink or something like this. And you're going to see mainstream financial systems continue to, get into this crypto sector. And so very bullish. Dumb money went long too early, and they're getting liquidated. It'll shoot up again and then dump off. Yeah, we're gonna see. And the thing about, if you made a mistake in, you can afford to make mistakes when the overall market is up, right? Is up and to the right long term, right? So if you bought Tectum at $20 or $30, you can afford to make that mistake when, if you hold it for 6 months and the price well surpasses that. So it's not like catching a falling knife. I wish I bought Hawk Tua. Hawk Tua went to a $20 million dollar market cap, I think, yesterday before crashing down. I know someone who did well on Hawk Tua, but I didn't get any. I mean, that's what this cycle is going to be remembered for. And, just when you think that crypto can't get more ridiculous, it manages to outdo itself every single time. Yeah, price gouging EpiPens. Back then, there was a shortage. Yeah, he is a scumbag. Said he is never, ever going to let anyone else. Yeah, but he sold that one of one Wu-Tang album. So, and I don't think anyone is allowed to hear it. I think Wu-Tang put a clause in the contract that the album can't be released for 83 years. RZA made sure. B-dubs with the super, thank you. Do you think memes will take profits from our alt bags during the bull run? I think that money's going to move in and out of bags during the bull run. And different sectors will get hot at different times. So, and I think that a lot of the money that's flowing into memes right now are going to flow back into utility tokens. So, I think overall the strategy should be to get into strong projects that will perform well and, have good tokenomics or good teams behind them, a good narrative, most importantly, because this whole thing, at the end of the day, they're all just speculative vehicles and people are buying them because they expect the price to go up. And so you want to be behind something that is in a hot narrative, in a sector that's hot, with a strong team and strong tokenomics. But I do think that money's gonna, will flow throughout. And if you're in strong alts, if you look at charts from last cycle, I'm gonna plug in some winners that we all know of. I mean, most of them peak at around the same time. All right, so I mean, Sand peaked in November after. That's not Sand. Hold up. Here we go. Sandbox peaked in November because of the metaverse thing. And then around, December, it tried to come back up. This was after Facebook, renamed themselves Meta. But if you look at, let's look at some other coins. Axie peaked November. Look at Solana peaked November. BNB November. So they all tend to peak around the same time when the whole market is going parabolic. Let's see. Cardano peaked, I think, in September after its smart contracts. Let's see. August. Yeah, this was after the smart contracts came out. Let's look at Shiba. October. So the whole market peaked around the same time, October, November. So, throughout the cycle, money will move in and out of sectors. Chainlink did not perform. Let's see. Well, yeah, Chainlink didn't perform well last cycle, or as expected. It peaked in May. Didn't get back. You look at Near, a little later, January. So what I'm saying is alts tend to run together towards the end and have their biggest run-ups. And the idea is when they're doing that, 5 to 10x in that short amount of time. Look at near on December 1st, 8th was $9. And within 5 weeks, it was 20. All right. So that's like a 3x. Or if you go back a little, within 2 months, it did a 3. That's not that big, 3x. If you look at Sand went from, did a 10x in a month. When things are going parabolic at the end there is when you want to start layering out. AI and RWAs are the play the cycle. Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at how NVIDIA, it continues to blow things out past a $3 trillion market cap, AI is not going anywhere. AI is only going to accelerate at a very rapid pace. And there's going to be a need for computing power. NVIDIA just did a 10-to-1 split, had blowout earnings. And, the strong AI plays are going to do really well. ETH dumping as we speak. Let me take a look. Yep. What's Bitcoin doing? Well, Bitcoin lost 64. So we're seeing, Bitcoin loses 64 at the end of the week here. We're likely to see Bitcoin, back into 61 range. So alts might bleed some more. All right, but again, when in doubt, zoom out. 2016, after the halving, the market took 518 days to get to all-time highs, which put it, sometime in mid 2018. 2020, 546 days after the halving to get to all-time highs. If history repeated itself and we went 546 days, you'd be looking at September 2025 market peak. Right? So there's a lot of time left, and we'll see. Early on, I thought that we would have an accelerated cycle, right, due to the Bitcoin ETF, which accelerated the cycle. But the longer that we cool off and go sideways, right, I think the further pushed back the top of this bull run goes. But it's impossible to know when things peak and, to time the market. So if you're not a trader, if you're not trained to be a trader, the best strategy that I found for myself is to DCA. Sell your losers and add to your winners. Yeah. And now's a good time for that. Caro in the house. What's good? So let's talk about, let me pull up OMI, since most of us, I said months ago that I don't like OMI for this cycle. I like other things a lot better than OMI. And subjectively speaking, it's hard to find another chart from last cycle, another coin from last cycle that's chart is as bad, right? Where OMI actually broke below the bull market support, a bear market support level. So throughout the bear market, it held up very strong in this, 0005 range multiple times. It hit 0005. You see, back in June, July of 2023. Then November, and 0005 acted as support every time. January 2024. But finally, it broke down below. And I've not seen that in any other, coin that I've looked at from last cycle that's broken below its bear market support. Again, even like a coin like Mana that was like hot last cycle, Decentraland, is down low, but it's still above its bear market support. And so I always say that, I look for, when I'm looking at alts, what I want to position myself in is things that the market has given confirmation to. I always say that winners keep on winning. And so, things that were performed strong, like when things were hot, like, the AI coins, Delicium or AGI, Aitech, Render, FET, all those coins, some of the gaming ones, Naka, Miria. Once the resumption of this bull market continues, Rio in the RWA sector, once the market heats up again, I would expect those coins to continue to do well. For OMI, now this 0005 has been flipped to resistance. And so the chart is not, not good, to say the least. And I think that's, a reaction to the fact that, they haven't added, obviously they haven't been able to attract new people, but on top of that, they've lost, a lot of people have lost conviction and have been frustrated, right, due to the delays in roadmaps and negative sentiment. And my biggest concern for OMI is not even, I think that they've done things, they've done some things well this cycle, right? I like the fact that they've moved to base, that you can, they're not moved there, but you can now buy OMI on Base Network. But that was really good. They've gotten on a couple of smaller exchanges. They added a couple, which is solid, even though they lost Bit4X, which wasn't their fault. They've continued, they deepened their relationship with Marvel. They've added the manga partnership. They've lowered their cash out $200. They have the web app, which is improved, and OMI to NFT is seemingly on the way. Fundamentally, OMI is stronger than where it was, a year ago. The problem is that there are a couple problems. One is there is a macro issue of the NFT sector and digital collectibles. They're not hot regardless. Or if you look at OpenSea, the volume there is dead. If you look at, McFarlane, which has a lot of the Web3 aspects that people in VV want, McFarlane's not doing big numbers. So the NFT sector is not what it was. And if it doesn't return, then it doesn't matter what catalysts come for OMI. I think that VV has a hard time. And by proxy, I think that OMI has a hard time. So fundamentally, OMI is improved, but its pumpamentals are greatly diminished this cycle, right? The fundamentals will be improved in terms of, they will hit certain milestones and, get some things done finally. But the pumpamentals are not there this cycle. And pumpamentals in crypto are everything. And you can look at the meme sector as an example of that. And so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't think OMI goes to new all-time highs this cycle. I think it has a hard time getting past 008. But, I hope I'm wrong and I'm rooting for it. And we will see. Andrew says, thinking we'll pump this week in anticipation of ETH ETF and full moon coming, then sell off the next week. I think we'll get a little run up into the ETF, but yeah, I do think that it's going to take some more time for this market to turn around. It's 10x from last pre-bull to where they are now. Still too many whales. And that's another thing with OMI, is that there are a lot of people with a lot of big bags. And every time that there's been a move up, there's been sell pressure. And so, this is the thing about second cycle coins that, have bag holders and frustrated bag holders at that, is that the longer those bag holders go, the heavier those bags get. And that speaks to, pumpamentals. When I talk about coins that I'm targeting and coins that I like, I tend to like first cycle coins in a hot sector that have good pumpamentals. Caro says, sell OMI and buy something else while everything is down. Fundamentally, Google Glass failed. Web3 failed. Yeah, Facebook Metaverse failed. Apple Vision Pro failed. NFTs failed. Yeah, and I think we're like 20 years too early on a lot of this stuff. And these are ideas that sound good, but we're not there yet. And I think that there will come a time when wearables and, AR and VR, when those things are more readily adopted and more mainstream, but we're not there yet. And we're not going to be there for some time, right? If you look at, I have an Apple Vision Pro and I like it, but I can't tell you the last time I used it. And I'm someone who is, who likes these things, to get normal, normies into this stuff. It's got to be way more accessible, way more wearable, right? Smaller, less clunky, and have more use cases. Because, and I think it'll happen in time, but in terms of NFTs, I think that the technology has its use case, but, we'll see the best use of, whoever makes best use of it down the line. For Vivi and Omi, I always said that instead of trying to attract new users, go after normies like Blackpink. That Blackpink drop, they went after, a different type of fandom. Instead of doing that, the low-hanging fruit are the people that are here, or the people that were frustrated and left because the product resonates with them. And so, if you could get those people back in or satisfy them and give them what they want to, make good on the things that some of the things that you said that you would do, I think that was the low-hanging fruit for them. VV versus digital diorama, losing testers faster. And that's another thing with VVverse. It went beta in August of last year. And then Dan said in November that in a fortnight, they would be, letting in the masses, start, scaling up. And then it's been radio silence since then. And I think that's been part of the course for them on the communication side of things. And that leads to a lot of frustration. The former clown is so right. All fails. Yeah. The bull, what's up? What's up, Marcus? Misstart is clashed with Euros. Yeah, I need to no spoilers on the Euro Cup. I paused the Germany game at halftime so I could jump in here. And later I'm going to move on to the Copa. USA's playing Bolivia. Let's go. I come from the art world, and we had the same thing with digital art. People valued tangible real estate over digital, and still do. History rhymes. Yeah. Omikami is a scam. We'll see, Xander. Yeah. I mean, I threw $300, a small amount at Omakami, and quickly did a 10x. It's since retraced a bit, but I'm just gonna let that ride and maybe take some out, if it on the next pump. This guy, Caro, I said no spoilers, man. This guy, the worst. Let's see what else we got. Let me pull up some other bookmarks here. And for people who, get easily shaken out of markets, this quote has been, I think this quote is very well known, but the second half of this quote that's not as well known. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Baron Rothschild made a fortune FOMO buying when people panic sold, right? Buy when there's blood in the streets. That's a very well-known quote, but there's a second part of the quote that's not often recited, even if the blood is your own. And that resonates with me because I got a bad entry on, some coins. Devve has one, right? Devve, I didn't get, my average price on Devve was maybe a little over $1. So I'm down a lot. And so it's hard to stomach buying something when you see red, right? When you see like down 60% or 70%, it's hard to psychologically power through that. But it's important, if you have conviction in something, to power through it. And, I did well on Solana last cycle because I was buying my own blood, right? I was buying Solana. I, love or hate Solana for the fact that the blockchain broke down a bunch of times. I always saw it as something that could take, 30% market share of ETH. And so I bought heavily in the bear market. I bought it at $25, and then the FTX thing happened and it collapsed, retraced 95% from its high all the way down to $8. And it wasn't easy to buy then. And all the big influencers were calling for $3. Every single one of them who have now flipped bullish on Solana. Altcoin Daily, Wendy O, all of those people were calling for a $3 SOL. And it didn't feel good. But I added a bunch of SOL. And that built up my bag. That was my biggest winner from the bear market of what I accumulated. And that's a lesson learned, right? Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. If it's something that you have high conviction in and it plays out, you'll be rewarded. All right, good. It's not a spoiler, Caro. You didn't watch. I thought you were giving me a spoiler. Yeah, my thoughts on Mcade. Mcade, I added more Mcade this week also. I like Mcade a lot. And it's not something that I'm all in. Like for RWA, my only play is Rio. I have a lot of conviction in Rio. I feel like if you look at social sentiment, if you track like social metrics on RWA plays, Rio always stands out amongst the others. And so it's always been my highest conviction RWA coin. And so when I want to buy an RWA, I just buy Rio. In the AI sector, there are a bunch that I like. Aitech is the one I like the most. And the market has confirmed both of those, right? So what I mean by that is that, Aitech went from like a couple cents all the way up to like whatever it was. I forget. 50 cents. Rio went from, I was buying it at 11 cents, went to $3 after Larry Fink talked about the tokenization of everything. And so when there is a resumption of this bull market, I expect those to continue to do their thing. The gaming sector is very crowded. I like Mcade very much fundamentally. I love the fact that it's a gaming hub. I love the fact that they have so many partnerships and they're partnered with Wilder World, which is a AAA game. I love the fact that their advisor is Jamie King. I love the fact that they are fully diluted. They now have tournaments, which I'm going to start playing this. Play to earn tournaments, right, that are fun, where they reward winners at the end of every couple weeks or month or whatever. They overhauled their website. They've got the founder of Rockstar Games on there as an advisor. So Mcade has gotten fundamentally stronger since I got into it, which was pretty early on. I mean, I like them a lot. But I hedge my gaming coins because there's it's such a crowded field, and Mcade hasn't gotten that confirmation from the market yet. Naka got a bit of it. Naka's a little older. Mcade came out with a $30 million market cap. And so when the rest of the gaming stuff was running, it wasn't because, Playable Games was at a $1 million market cap. A lot of these other coins were, sub 1 million market cap, 5 million market cap. Mcade launched at 30 million. And so it was a stable coin. What I want to see, I have a lot of Mcade. That and Naka are my two biggest plays. And I added more Mcade this week. Fundamentally, I like it a lot. I feel like I love the CEO, Russ, because he's competitive. He talks openly about wanting to be the best, the biggest gaming ecosystem, and wanting to take out Naka. And I like that. I feel like Naka is a safer play, but Mcade has more upside, right? Because it's coming from, let's pull up the chart. Mcade is coming off of a $14 million market cap right now, and it's fully diluted, right? It's not going to see a bunch of coins dumped on the market, unlike Miria, unlike Games for a Living, and some of these other things. GameSwift, which I like a lot also, I hold that. So I like Mcade a lot. But we'll see how it performs. Here we go. It had a high of, I want to say, when it first launched, it hit 4 cents. And then its local top was at like 2.5 cents, almost 3 cents. So a lot of these things, people were wanting to buy Mcade at 2.5 cents. I think my average buy is about a penny. I did add more yesterday. A lot of these things 60, 70% down. So if you like them at, if you like Mcade at 2.5 cents and it's fundamentally stronger, I like it. And I'm going to start playing that game. Start maybe trying to win some Mcade. Conviction and being picky are more important than ever this cycle. Yeah, there's so many coins. The market's flooded with so many coins. On the flip side, there'll be more liquidity than ever. And so, I don't look at it as, that things won't perform as well because, there'll be more liquidity. Every cycle, there's more liquidity that comes into the space, right? I think the first, last cycle, I think the total market cap was 3 trillion, 3.5 trillion. Prior to that, it was about 1 trillion. This cycle, you're likely to see $7 to $10 trillion total market cap. And so while there are more projects, there'll be more money coming in, but there are so many more projects, and certain sectors are more flooded than ever. more flooded than others, right? Certain sectors are more congested. And so what a couple of things that I learned, so if I'm always learning and I make mistakes, and I made mistakes in the last 6 months. One mistake I made was market cap hunting and buying projects that were inferior because, NACA was at a $300 million market cap and Mcade was at a certain market cap, and market cap hunting led me to buy bad projects. One was Node Synapse, which I think was a rug, which looked good. Right? It looked, and I wanted, like, that was like a deep in project. It looked kind of like Render and things like that. And it looked good, but it wasn't a quality project. I also hastily jumped into, in order to like get in early on something, I jumped into something that ended up being a honeypot. And so, you get burnt and you learn lessons in crypto, but it's important to learn those lessons. And it's important to be picky and have conviction, because, and also don't take outsized risk, because the space is already risky enough, right? To me, there's no need to go all in on one altcoin. Because in crypto, the risk is zero, right? Going to zero, it happens. And it's the Wild West. Mcade is not for regular meme boys. It hits different. Web3 and cocaine. Mcade has a strong community, so it ticks the boxes. Yeah, playable games is beaten down. Also goodbye. $12 million market cap. This had run up to $100 million market cap, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. 10 cents it was at. Yes. No, wait. 1 cent. Yeah, which is almost a 10x from where it is now. These zeros get in the way. It almost got to about $100 million market cap off of a $1 million market cap. Playable games had an incredible run up, and it's bled out substantially more than others. It's down. Playable games is down more than others because of the parabolic run that it had up, 100x up. But what I like about playable games is the brandability of it. They have good branding. They have, I think, one playable game, maybe Nexus. From what I heard, another game got delayed. $12 million market cap, similar to Mcade right now. Fundamentally, I like Mcade more, but we'll see. Playable games might have more pumpamentals, so I hold both. We'll see. But I agree, this is a good buy for playable games. GameSwift also is, let's look up G Swift, which has like an AI component to it, down to an $8 million market cap. Crazy. High of about 80 cents. Now down to 15 cents. So buy what you like, do your research. My average is at 1, 2. Yeah, but nice. Won a lot of tournaments. I'm going to start playing those tournaments, cash games. Starting as soon as I get off here, I'm going to create my Mcade account and start winning some. I think the top will be before the year end. I don't think so, Jojo. I mean, the longer this goes sideways, the less chance I think that happens. I think the election's going to be I think it's going to get crazy. There are a lot of catalysts coming. But the longer this goes sideways, I think the further out we go. I think 2025 at earliest, like early 2025 first quarter, but I no longer think end of year. I think the election's gonna make things crazy. I think this is now the first year where crypto will be center stage, maybe not center stage, but on the stage in an election cycle, where the presidential candidates are trying to curry favor with the crypto crowd, which is amazing, and which is going to serve to pump our bags, I believe, right? And Trump has seen this, and he started it, and he's called himself the crypto president. And he met with the CleanSpark co-founder, said he loves what they're building. Right, this is a mining company for Bitcoin. He's met with different people to strategize about how to treat crypto. Says that he wants to properly regulate it. Says that he wants America to be a leader in the space. Now, perhaps he's just saying that to get votes, but I think Trump more than anyone understands. He's a degen. He's like the biggest degen. He's got his Trump sneakers and NFTs and stuff. So I think he understands, and I think would want to leverage the space. And then you're seeing, the Biden administration softening a little on crypto. Leaked emails show that Biden admin will be attending a Bitcoin and crypto roundtable in DC in July. Right, the SEC approved the ETH ETF. They just dropped their, investigations into Ethereum. One of their key guys fighting the crypto battle just stepped down. So you're seeing a little bit of a softening by this administration. Again, could just be most likely it's talk to get votes, right? But regardless, this is going to be the first U.S. election where crypto will likely be spoken about, in a debate, in interviews. It's already been spoken about. And so it bodes well for the space. And then you've got like the whole rate cuts narrative, and, those cuts haven't come yet and they've been pushed back. But eventually they're going to happen, right? And so you've got that narrative also, and that catalyst for the whole macro environment and money printing. And, I think that there's a lot of juice here to pump these markets. Super is also beaten down. They've been building a ton and should pump hard when gaming comes back. Yep. One day you will enter base site and see Mcade on the main page. On-chain summer will attract crowds. Yeah, and then you've got like the whole base narrative. It's going to be fun. On-chain summer for all the Chuck holders. The Chuck will be there to take advantage of that and regain some momentum and be in the right place at the right time, because you're seeing a bunch of memes on Base Network. Benji went to $100 million market cap recently. And you're seeing, Brett is gone crazy. Carlo, I don't even know what Carlo is. Recently just had a nice run up. But, that there's going to be so much liquidity flooding into Base wallet now that, you don't even need things to be listed on Coinbase anymore. And I don't think people realize the significance of that. In the past, major catalysts have been like a Coinbase listing would pump things. I just talked to my niece's boyfriend who's illiterate when it comes to crypto. He doesn't understand crypto. But he was able to swap buy Ethereum, bridge it to no, buy Ethereum. He accidentally bought it on Base Network. He was able to, and he's a complete noob. He was able to bridge it back to ETH and swap it for Tectum in Base Wallet. They are making things easier. And so it's kind of game changing in that you no longer will need these big exchange listings for people to have access to coins. It's getting easier. And there's going to be so much liquidity over there and so many new users coming through Coinbase Wallet. So my point was, Chuck will be positioned there. And we saw Benji Benji had a similar chart, went to 6 cents, dumped all the way down like 80%. And for 2 months went sideways with zero traction until Ron from Crypto Banter, I believe, was the catalyst. He was the spark that lit the flame, mentioned them, and they went up to a $100 million market cap. So you never know what's going to pump something. G-Swift testnet launching next week. Yeah, will be layer 2 on ETH soon. Yeah, I like G-Swift a lot. 100K Bitcoin end of July. I don't think it'll be that fast, Jojo, but I'd love to see it. And 100K is going to be such a psychological barrier. I do think we'll get there, and I think we'll surpass it. But is it going to be crazy when we have a 6-figure Bitcoin? And then they'll be talking about a 7-figure Bitcoin. Israel at war, China hunting Taiwanese girls, Ukraine wants your weapons, and people expect to moon tomorrow. Longer cycle, better cycle. Q2 25. Yeah. We'll see. There's a lot going on. Super bullish on G-Swift. Should do very well. Yeah, I still hold my G-Swift, still hold my playable games. I have smaller bags of those compared to Mcade and Naka. Summer chop accumulation. DK says, don't see much happening until September, October. Yeah, we'll see. I think at the very least, we have this boring sideways action through, the end of July. Maybe I think for me, the earliest I see a recovery is August, but who knows? It's impossible to predict. The most we can do is look at historical, previous cycles to try to, figure out where these things go. Aerodrome is probably a good ad because of the base ecosystem. I'm not familiar with Aerodrome. Let me pull that up. Here we go. $379 million market cap. It's gone up quite a bit. Jordan Riz in the house. What's good? Jojo, favorable news are always tops. Yeah. If I listen to Sell in May, Go Away, I could double my bags right now. Yeah. But the thing is, if you sold in May, it probably the market would go up. Isn't that how it works? And, I often think about that. For me, I'm not a trader. I don't try to time markets. It gives me anxiety to move in and out of positions. I have ideas of how much I want to accumulate of specific tokens, and then I try to hit my targets and just hold. I buy and hold, and that's my style. So I have zero regrets about, not selling and then buying back lower, because again, everything is easy with hindsight, right? Everything, when you know the answer to the question, then it's stress free and easy to get through, to see it. So aerodrome is bases decks. Nice. Jordan, I'm in the both. LFGs just sold my house. Yes, congrats, Jordan. Bitcoin having a supply shock as people buy meme coins. Yeah. It's crazy how many meme coins there are. And part of my strategy is to ride some of these alts up and then take profits and then, try to catch some good memes early. And, the bull market, there's a lot of work that goes into a proper bull market. You got to pay attention every day. It's like a full-time job. You have to see what tokens are launching and do your due diligence. But I told my wife to not to expect to see me very often when this market heats up again. But there we go. I've been on for an hour and 17. My first stream back. I'm going to try to get back into the groove of things in the coming weeks and start streaming again regularly. I want to thank you all for coming through and spending an hour or so with me. And I'm going to try to get back at this sometime next week with another stream. And of course, I'll join Jordan for Chuck's Crypto Roundhouse on Thursday. But thank you all for coming through. Yes, all good things to those who wait. Thanks for coming through, everyone. Appreciate you all. Catch you all in the next one.